In other news, World Bank President Ajay Banga is warning that the West Asia conflict could have a cascading impact on the global economy, even if a fragile ceasefire holds. Speaking to Reuters, Banga said that the West Asia war is already disrupting global energy flows and could have lasting economic consequences. He warns that the Strait of Hormuz, through which about 20% of global oil and gas flows, remains under strain, with shipping still severely disrupted. Banga says that even a temporary ceasefire announced by US President Donald Trump remains fragile, with continued tensions between Israel and Iran. He cautions that if the conflict escalates again, the damage to energy infrastructure could deepen significantly.
The question really is, does this current peace and the negotiations that are going to be happening this weekend, will this lead to a lasting peace and then a reopening of the straits? We don't know that, either of us. We also don't know that if it doesn't lead to that, and if conflict were to break out again, would that have an even larger impact or a longer-term impact on energy infrastructure?
Well, Banga outlined scenarios already discussed with the IMF and the World Bank. In a baseline case where peace holds, global growth could fall by 0.2 to 0.3 percentage points and up 2.4 percentage points in emerging markets. But if the conflict drags on or escalates, the impact could be significantly worse. Inflation could rise by 200 to 300 basis points and as much as 0.9 percentage points in a severe scenario. The war has already pushed oil prices up by around 50% while disrupting shipments of oil, gas, fertilizer, helium and other key goods. Banga also flagged damage to key energy infrastructure, including Qatar's Ras Laffan gas complex, which is responsible for 93% of Qatar's LNG output, which could take 3 to 5 years to fully recover.
The impact on the economic system of the world, which was showing resiliency for the last 3-4 years, despite everybody's opinions that it would be harder, it actually held up pretty well. And people were forecasting something like a 3% GDP expansion in the world overall. That's going to come down by the 0.2, 0.3 that I talked about in the current scenario. In the emerging markets, maybe a little more, by 0.4. Inflation was also seen to be around 3% for the year.
The World Bank says it is already working with vulnerable countries, especially storm island nations with no energy resources, through crisis response funding. But Banga warns that recovery must be targeted and temporary to avoid worsening fiscal pressure.
I worry about making sure that they can come through this crisis, targeting what they need to do, but not doing anything that further deteriorates that fiscal space. Meaning, whatever we do with them, we've got to help them think about targeted rather than broad-based and temporary rather than long-term. And I think that's got to be how we work with our partners.